The morning started like any other Tuesday for Admiral Hyunwoo Park. He was drinking his coffee and reading reports from the Mars colonies when the alarms began screaming across Earth Defense Command. Every screen in the control room flashed red. The massive display showing Earth's orbital space lit up with hundreds of new contacts. "Sir, we have unknown ships entering our system," called out Lieutenant Soo Jin Han from her station. Her voice was steady, but Hyunwoo could hear the fear underneath. "They just appeared at the edge of our detection range. No hyperspace signatures, no engine trails. They're just there." Hyunwoo set down his coffee and walked to the main display. 200 ships hung in space beyond Luna's orbit. They were huge, each one bigger than Earth's largest battleship. Their hulls gleamed like polished metal, and they moved in perfect formation. These were not human ships. "Get me President Kim on the secure line," Hyunwoo ordered. "And wake up Defense Minister Lee, tell him we have visitors." The alien ships made no hostile moves. They simply sat in space waiting. Their presence alone was a message. Earth's entire defense fleet numbered only 40 ships. The aliens had brought 5 times that number. Dr. Ji-hai Choi arrived at the command center within the hour. She was Earth's top expert on alien life, though until today that had been mostly theoretical work. Her hands shook slightly as she studied the sensor readings. "The ships are made from materials we don't recognize," she reported. "The energy signatures are off the charts. These beings are far more advanced than us." President So-young Kim appeared on the main screen, broadcasting from the emergency bunker beneath Seoul. Her face was calm, but Hyunwoo had worked with her long enough to see the worry in her eyes. "Admiral, what are we dealing with?" she asked. "Unknown at this time, Madam President. 200 vessels of superior technology. They haven't made contact yet, but their intentions are clear enough." Defense Minister Tae-min Lee joined the conference from his office in Geneva. His military background showed in how quickly he grasped the situation. "Admiral, can our fleet engage if necessary?" Hyunwoo looked at the display again. Earth's ships looked like toys next to the alien vessels. "We would be destroyed in minutes, sir. These ships are beyond anything we've encountered." That's when the message came. The aliens used every communication channel at once. Radio, quantum bands, even primitive Morse code signals. The message appeared on screens across the planet in perfect translations. Somehow they had learned every human language. "People of Earth," the message began, "we are the Galactic Dominion. For 3,000 years we have brought order to the galaxy. 12 star systems bow before our rule. Today, we offer you the same choice we have offered countless others." The message paused. Around the world, humans stopped what they were doing to listen. "You will surrender your weapons. You will accept our authority. You will provide tribute and soldiers for our armies. In return, we will allow your species to continue existing under our protection." Hyunwoo felt his blood turn cold. The message continued with clinical precision. "You have 72 hours to respond. If you choose to resist, your planet will be reduced to ash. Your colonies will be destroyed. Your species will serve as an example to others who might consider defiance. This is not a negotiation. This is your only warning." The transmission ended. The command center fell silent except for the hum of computers and the quiet breathing of the staff. Everyone looked at Hyunwoo, waiting for orders that he didn't know how to give. President Kim was the first to speak. "Admiral, I need honest answers. Can we fight them?" Hyunwoo studied the tactical display. 200 alien ships against 40 human vessels. Ships that were probably centuries ahead of Earth technology. The math was simple and brutal. In a direct engagement? "No, Madam President. We cannot win." "Then what are our options?" Before Hyunwoo could answer, Captain Min Ho-yoon stepped forward. He had been standing quietly in the back of the room, but now his eyes held a strange light. "Sir, permission to speak freely?" "Granted, Captain." The aliens made one mistake. They assume we'll fight like everyone else they've conquered. They expect us to meet them in open battle, ship to ship. Dr. Ji-hai Choi looked up from her readings. The transmission patterns suggest they've done this many times before. Their language contains phrases that indicate previous conquests. But there's something else. She paused, checking her data again. Their ships are designed for fighting other advanced civilizations. Energy weapons, shield technology, antimatter cores. They're built to fight enemies who use the same technology they do. Defense Minister Lee leaned forward on the screen. "What are you suggesting?" Captain Yoon smiled grimly. "That we don't fight fair. That we fight human." Hyunwoo understood immediately. He walked to the secure terminal and began entering authorization codes. Mr. President, I'm requesting activation of Protocol 7. President Kim's eyes widened. Protocol 7 was the code name for humanity's deepest secret. For 50 years, ever since the first radio signals from alien civilizations, Earth had been preparing for this day. The preparations had been so secret that only a handful of people knew the full scope. Admiral, are you certain? The aliens gave us 72 hours to surrender, Hyunwoo said. But they didn't give us 72 hours to prepare. We've had 50 years for that. He turned to Captain Yoon. Signal the asteroid belt, wake up the network, and get me a secure line to the Kuiper base. As the orders went out, Hyunwoo felt something he hadn't expected. Not fear, but excitement. The aliens thought they knew what humanity was capable of. They had studied Earth's official military records, counted the ships in the public fleet, measured the strength of the colonies. They had no idea what humans could do when pushed into a corner. Dr. Ji-hai Choi was still studying the alien transmission when she made another discovery. Admiral, there's something else about their message. The language they use suggests they've never encountered serious resistance before. Their previous conquests were peaceful. They don't know how to fight an enemy that refuses to surrender. Then they're about to learn, Hyunwoo said. Across the solar system, hidden installations began powering up. Facilities that had been disguised as mining operations for decades revealed their true purpose. Weapons that existed only in classified files prepared for activation. The Galactic Dominion had demanded Earth's surrender. They had given humanity 72 hours to comply. But they had forgotten something important about humans. When faced with impossible odds, when backed against the wall, when told they had no choice but to submit, humans had a tendency to do something unexpected. They fought back. The countdown began. 71 hours and 43 minutes until the deadline. The aliens waited in their perfect formation, confident in their overwhelming superiority. They had conquered 12 star systems with the same ultimatum. They had never conquered a species like humanity before. The countdown clock on the main display showed 58 hours remaining when the first hidden facility came online. Deep in the asteroid belt, what had appeared to be a simple mining station for the past 30 years suddenly revealed its true nature. Commander Yoonji Nam stood in the control room of Ceres Station, watching her screens fill with tactical data. Around her, technicians worked frantically to bring decades-old systems back to life. The station had been built to look like a mining operation, complete with ore processing facilities and civilian workers. But beneath the surface lay something else entirely. Titan Network is responding, reported her communications officer. All stations are acknowledging the wake-up signal. Yoonji smiled grimly. The Titan Network was humanity's greatest secret. When the first alien signals had been detected 50 years ago, Earth's leaders had made a choice. They would prepare for war while hoping for peace. Hidden throughout the solar system, disguised as civilian installations, lay the real defense of humanity. Bring the railguns online, she ordered, and send word to Earth Command. The asteroid belt is ready for war. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyunwoo Park was coordinating the awakening of humanity's hidden arsenal. Reports came in from across the solar system, as facilities that had operated in secret for decades revealed their true purpose. Dr. Hae-Won Jung arrived at Earth Defense Command carrying a briefcase that contained the technical specifications for humanity's most closely guarded weapons. She was a small woman with gray hair, but her eyes held the fire of someone who had spent her life preparing for this moment. "Admiral," she said, setting the briefcase on his desk. "It's time to show them what human engineering can do." She opened the case and pulled out a tablet showing detailed schematics. The aliens use energy shields to protect their ships, very advanced, probably designed to stop plasma weapons and particle beams. But there's one thing energy shields cannot stop, which is a big rock moving very fast. Hyunwoo studied the designs. These are kinetic bombardment systems, the most advanced ever built. We can accelerate a tungsten rod to 15% of light speed using magnetic fields. When it hits something, it releases the energy equivalent of a nuclear weapon but without the radiation. Pure kinetic force. Captain Min Ho-yoon entered the room as Dr. Jung was explaining the weapons. His face was flushed with excitement. "Admiral, the Kuiper base is responding. Captain Dong Hyun Seo reports the Ghost Fleet is ready for deployment." The Ghost Fleet was another of humanity's secrets. 50 small ships, each one equipped with experimental stealth technology that made them nearly invisible to sensors. They had been built in the outer system, far from prying eyes, using resources from the Kuiper Belt. How long until they can reach Earth? Hyun-woo asked. 18 hours at maximum burn. Captain Seo says his ships are faster than anything in the official fleet records. Dr. Ji-hai Choi looked up from her analysis station. She had been studying the alien ships for hours, looking for weaknesses. Admiral, I found something interesting about their formation. They're positioned like they expect to fight a traditional space battle, ship against ship with clear lines of engagement. What does that tell us? That they've never fought an enemy that uses the environment as a weapon. Look at their positioning. They're ignoring the debris fields, the asteroid paths, even the gravity wells of our planets. They're thinking in terms of open space combat. Defense Minister Tae-min Lee appeared on the communication screen from Geneva. Behind him, Hyun-woo could see other government officials preparing for what might be Earth's final hours. Admiral, I have authorization from the President. Operation Fortress is approved. All hidden installations are now under military command. Operation Fortress was the code name for converting Earth's entire orbital infrastructure into a weapon system. Every space station, every satellite, every piece of orbital debris had been cataloged and prepared. When the time came, all of it could be turned into projectiles. Sir, there's something else, Captain Yoon said. We've been intercepting alien communications. They're not encrypted very well, probably because they don't expect primitive humans to understand their technology. What are they saying? They're confident. Their commanders are treating this as a routine operation. They expect us to surrender when we see how outmatched we are. Dr. Jung laughed, a sound with no humor in it. They really don't understand humans, do they? As the hours passed, more reports came in from across the solar system. The Mars colonies had activated their hidden weapon platforms. The lunar bases had revealed massive railgun installations built into the dark side of the moon. Even the research stations around Jupiter had military capabilities that no alien scout would have detected. Commander Yoon-ji Nam sent her first tactical update from the asteroid belt. Earth Command, this is Ceres Station. We have 300 weapon platforms online and ready. Kinetic projectiles are loaded and targeting systems are active. We can hit anything in the inner system with less than 30 seconds flight time. Understood, Ceres. What's your ammunition supply? Effectively unlimited, sir. We're sitting in the middle of the solar system's largest source of raw materials. Every asteroid is a potential projectile. The alien ships continued to wait in their perfect formation, confident in their superiority. Their sensors would be detecting Earth's official military assets. 40 ships, a few orbital platforms, some planetary defense systems. Nothing that could threaten a fleet of 200 advanced warships. They had no idea that humanity had turned the entire solar system into a fortress. Captain Dong-hyun. SEO's voice came through on the long-range communicator. Earth Command, this is Ghost Leader. My fleet is 12 hours out from Earth. We're running dark and completely undetected. The aliens have no idea we exist. Acknowledged, Ghost Leader. How are your ships performing? Better than expected, sir. The stealth systems are working perfectly. We could fly right through their formation and they wouldn't know we were there until we opened fire. Dr. Ji-hee Choi had been quiet for the last hour, studying something on her screens. Finally, she spoke up. Admiral, I think I understand why the aliens are so confident. They've been monitoring our public communications. News broadcasts, military reports, even our entertainment media. They think they know everything about human military capability. And they're wrong. Completely wrong. They know about our public fleet, our official colonies, our declared military budget. They have no idea about the black projects, the hidden facilities, or the fact that we've been preparing for this exact scenario for 50 years. The countdown clock showed 36 hours remaining. Around the solar system, humanity's secret weapons finished their activation sequences. Thousands of weapons platforms that didn't officially exist prepared for battle. Ships that weren't on any registry moved into position. The Galactic Dominion had demanded surrender. They had brought overwhelming force to ensure compliance, but they had made one critical error. They had studied humanity's capabilities and found them lacking. They had studied the wrong capabilities. Admiral Hyun-woo Park looked at the tactical display showing Earth's official defenses. 40 ships against 200. It looked hopeless. Then he switched to the classified display. The real display. He smiled. The aliens were about to learn something important about humans. When they were pushed to the wall, when faced with impossible odds, When told they had no choice but to surrender, humans became very creative about finding new choices, and humanity had spent 50 years being very, very creative. The explosions across Earth's surface looked like the final death throes of a defeated civilization. Cities erupted in nuclear fire. Massive clouds of debris launched into space from every continent. To the watching Grand Armada, it appeared that the humans were destroying their own world rather than let it fall into alien hands. Emperor Kethvar watched from his command ship, satisfied with what he saw. Foolish creatures. They destroy their own planet out of spite. No matter, we will rebuild it as a monument to Dominion power. What he didn't realize was that every explosion had been precisely calculated. Dr. Haiwan Young had spent weeks determining the exact charge, sizes and positions needed to launch debris into specific orbital paths. The seemingly random destruction was actually the most complex ballistic calculation in human history. Admiral Hyunwoo Park monitored the trap's execution from his hidden command post on Pluto. Millions of pieces of Earth's surface were now racing through space at escape velocity, following trajectories that would intersect with the alien fleet's position in exactly 47 minutes. All debris clouds are on target, reported Dr. Young. Impact spread will cover their entire formation. They won't be able to dodge this even if they detect it coming. The Grand Armada settled into occupation formation around Earth, their massive ships positioned to deploy ground forces to the planet's surface. They had no idea that they were sitting in the middle of humanity's greatest trap. Captain Dong Hyun, CO, watched from his cloaked position with the Ghost Fleet. His sensors could track both the alien ships and the approaching debris clouds. The timing was perfect. Earth Command, this is Ghost Leader. The packages are 15 minutes from delivery. All alien ships are in position. Acknowledged, Ghost Leader. Prepare for Phase 2. But Emperor Kethvar was not entirely foolish. As the debris clouds approached, his sensors finally detected the incoming material. At first, his tactical officers dismissed it as random debris from the planet's destruction. Then they realized the truth. My Emperor, his science officer reported urgently, the debris patterns are not random. They're following calculated trajectories. This is a weapon system. Kethvar's eyes widened with understanding and rage. The humans have turned their entire planet into a projectile launcher. All ships, emergency evasive maneuvers. But it was too late. The debris clouds arrived like the wrath of an angry god. Millions of chunks of rock, metal, and concrete struck the Grand Armada at 8 kilometers per second. Each piece carried enough kinetic energy to punch through ship hulls. The alien vessels, designed to fight other spacecraft, had no defense against a planet-sized shotgun blast. Ships that had conquered entire star systems found themselves being torn apart by fragments of human cities. The proud flagship that carried Emperor Kethvar took hundreds of impacts, its hull rupturing in dozens of places. Damage report, Kethvar shouted over the chaos. Massive hull breaches throughout the fleet. We're losing ships by the dozens. The debris storm lasted for 8 minutes. When it ended, over 600 Dominion vessels had been destroyed or crippled. The survivors were scattered and damaged, their perfect formation broken. But Admiral Hyunwoo Park was not finished. Execute Phase 3, he commanded. Release the outer fleet. Throughout the solar system, humanity's true military might finally revealed itself. The 40 ships of Earth's official navy had been a deception. The Ghost Fleet of 50 vessels had been impressive but still small. Now the real human fleet emerged from hiding. 3,000 ships rose from concealment throughout the solar system. They had been built in secret over 50 years, hidden in asteroid mines, disguised as civilian vessels, or constructed in the dark spaces beyond Pluto. Every human colony had been a disguised shipyard. Every mining operation had been building weapons of war. Commander Subin Park led the largest battle group as it emerged from the asteroid belt. Her ships were not elegant like the alien vessels. They were crude, functional, built for one purpose, to kill enemy ships as efficiently as possible. All units, this is Hammer Leader. The aliens wanted to see our full strength. Let's show them what 50 years of preparation looks like. The human fleet fell on the scattered remnants of the Grand Armada, like wolves on wounded prey. The aliens tried to reform their lines, but they were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Human ships were smaller and faster, designed for exactly this kind of chaotic battle. Captain Min Ho Yoon led his reformed Ghost Fleet in surgical strikes against alien command ships. His quantum torpedoes found their marks with devastating precision. One by one, the Dominion's senior officers fell silent. Major Young-Sik Cho activated the final surprise. Hidden throughout the solar system were thousands of automated weapon platforms, each one no bigger than a fighter but packed with explosives. They swarmed toward the alien fleet like angry insects. Emperor Kethavar watched his mighty armada being systematically destroyed by an enemy he had underestimated completely. His own ship was crippled, life support failing, half his crew dead or dying. How is this possible? He demanded of his surviving officers. They're primitives. They barely have spaceflight. Sir, our intelligence was wrong. They've been building this fleet for decades. Their entire civilization has been preparing for war. The Battle of Sol raged for 6 days. It was unlike anything in galactic history. The mighty Dominion, which had ruled through overwhelming force for centuries, found itself fighting an enemy that refused to follow the rules of civilized warfare. Human ships struck from the shadows and vanished. They used the solar system's gravity wells as weapons, slingshotting around planets to build up speed for devastating kinetic strikes. They turned asteroids into missiles and space debris into deadly clouds of shrapnel. By the end of the 6th day, the Grand Armada was broken. Of the 2,000 ships that had come to destroy humanity, fewer than 300 remained capable of fighting. The rest were debris floating in the void or limping toward the edge of the system. Emperor Kethavar, barely alive in his ruined flagship, sent a final transmission to Admiral Hyunwoo Park. Human Commander, I request terms for surrender. The words echoed across the galaxy. The Emperor of the Galactic Dominion, ruler of 12 star systems, was asking a primitive species for mercy. Hyunwoo's response was broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring every species in known space would hear it. Emperor Kethavar, these are our terms. You will withdraw all Dominion forces from this system. You will never return. And you will spread word throughout the galaxy that humanity is not to be disturbed. If you agree to these terms, your surviving ships may leave in peace. And if I refuse? Hyunwoo looked at the tactical display showing thousands of human ships surrounding the alien survivors. Then you will discover what happens when you threaten the children of Earth. The Emperor agreed to the terms. The surviving Dominion ships limped out of the solar system, carrying news of their defeat to the rest of the galaxy. But the real victory was just beginning. Within weeks, Earth began receiving diplomatic messages from across the galaxy. Species that had been conquered by the Dominion were asking the same question. Would humanity be interested in forming an alliance? The Galactic Dominion had demanded Earth's surrender. Humanity had answered with warships. And now the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Hyunwoo Park stood on the observation deck of his flagship, looking out at Earth as repair ships worked to clear the orbital debris. The planet was scarred but alive, and humanity was free. Sir, Captain Min Ho-yoon approached with a communication pad. We're receiving over 100 diplomatic requests. It seems half the galaxy wants to be our friend now. Hyunwoo smiled. Then I suppose we'd better start building a bigger fleet. Something tells me we're going to need it. The age of human isolation was over. The age of human expansion had begun. The countdown clock reached 0 at exactly 12 RGMT. Admiral Hyunwoo Park stood in Earth Defense Command, watching the alien fleet begin to move. 200 ships broke their perfect formation and advanced toward Earth. Their intent was clear. They would demonstrate their power by destroying major human cities. Sir, the aliens are transmitting, reported Lieutenant Soo Jin-han. They want to speak with Earth's leaders one final time. The main screen flickered to life. The alien commander was a tall creature with scaled skin and yellow eyes. He wore elaborate armor that seemed to shift colors in the light. When he spoke, his voice was cold and mechanical. I am Admiral Velnoth of the Galactic Dominion. Your time has expired. Since you have chosen to resist, we will now demonstrate the consequences of defying our authority. Your city of Tokyo will be destroyed in 10 minutes. This is your final opportunity to surrender. President So-young Kim appeared on a split screen from the emergency bunker. Her voice was steady when she replied, Admiral Velnoth, I speak for all humanity when I say this. Go to hell. The alien commander's eyes narrowed. Very well. Your species will serve as an example to others who might consider resistance. The transmission ended. The Dominion fleet moved into attack formation, their massive ships positioning themselves to bombard Earth's surface. Their weapons began charging, energy readings spiking across human sensors. They never got the chance to fire. Captain Min Ho Yoon had been waiting in the shadow of the moon with his ship, the Indomitable. Around him, invisible to alien sensors, floated 49 other vessels of the Ghost Fleet. They had been holding position for 12 hours. Completely undetected. Ghost Fleet, this is Ghost Leader. Captain Dong Hyun Seo's voice came through the secure channel. Execute strike pattern Alpha. Show them what humans can do. The Ghost Fleet materialized around the rear guard of the alien formation like deadly spirits. One moment space was empty. The next 50 human ships appeared with their weapons already firing. The aliens had never encountered kinetic weapons before. Their energy shields were designed to stop plasma beams and particle cannons. A tungsten rod moving at 20,000 kilometers per second was something entirely different. Captain Yoon watched his first torpedo punch clean through an alien battleship's shields and hull. The projectile, no bigger than a baseball bat, carried enough kinetic energy to split the massive ship in half. The alien vessel broke apart in a spectacular explosion as its antimatter containment failed. "Direct hit," shouted his weapons officer. "Their shields are useless against solid projectiles." Across the Ghost Fleet, similar results played out. Alien ships that had seemed invincible suddenly found themselves defenseless against humanity's crude but effective weapons. In the first 60 seconds of combat, 18 Dominion vessels were destroyed or crippled, but the real surprise was yet to come. Commander Yoonji Nam had been tracking the alien fleet's movement from Ceres Station in the asteroid belt. When she saw them move into attack formation, she smiled coldly and activated the Titan network. "All stations, this is Ceres Command. Execute Damocles Protocol. Fire at will." Hidden throughout the asteroid belt, 300 weapon platforms came to life. They had been disguised as mining equipment for decades, but now they revealed their true nature. Massive electromagnetic railguns, each one capable of accelerating projectiles to 15% of light speed. The aliens had positioned themselves perfectly for a surface bombardment of Earth. This put them in a direct line between the planet and the asteroid belt. They had never considered that humans might have weapons hidden among the rocks. The first salvo arrived before the aliens even knew it was coming. Tungsten rods, accelerated to relativistic speeds, struck the Dominion fleet with the force of nuclear weapons. The alien flagship, a massive dreadnought that had led the conquest of 12 worlds, took a direct hit that punched through its hull from stem to stern. Admiral Velnoth had been standing on his command bridge when the projectile hit. The impact destroyed half his ship instantly. Emergency klaxons screamed as atmosphere rushed out through the massive hole in the hull. His tactical officer was shouting damage reports, but the words made no sense. "Sir, we're detecting massive kinetic impacts. Where are they coming from?" "Impossible," Velnoth snarled. "Humans don't have weapons that can reach us from this distance." That was when the second salvo arrived. Dr. Haewon Young watched the battle from Earth's command center with satisfaction. Her weapons were performing exactly as designed. The aliens' energy shields were completely ineffective against kinetic projectiles. Their ships, built to fight other energy-using civilizations, had no defense against simple rocks moving very fast. "Admiral," she reported to Hyunwoo Park, "initial strike results are excellent. We're achieving near 100% hit rates. The alien ships aren't even attempting evasive maneuvers. Why not? They don't understand what's happening. Their sensors are designed to detect energy weapons charging up. Our projectiles are too small and fast for their systems to track." Lieutenant Soo-Jin Han was monitoring alien communications from her station. "Sir, they're in complete chaos. I'm intercepting damage reports from across their fleet. They're reporting impossible weapon signatures and requesting immediate reinforcements." The battle continued for 18 minutes. It was unlike anything in recorded galactic history. The mighty Dominion fleet, which had conquered entire star systems, found itself being systematically destroyed by weapons they couldn't see coming from enemies they couldn't locate. Captain Yoon's Ghost Fleet danced between the alien ships, appearing long enough to fire their torpedoes before vanishing back into stealth mode. The aliens tried to target them, but human ships were smaller and faster than anything they had encountered. Their massive energy weapons couldn't track targets moving at such high speeds. From the asteroid belt, Commander Nam's railguns continued their deadly work. Each shot was precisely calculated to hit where the alien ships would be, not where they were. The projectiles traveled so fast that by the time the aliens detected them, it was already too late to dodge. Dr. Ji-Hai Choi had been analyzing the alien response patterns. "Admiral, they're trying to retreat. Their fleet is breaking formation and attempting to withdraw to longer range. Let them go?" "No, sir, this is our best chance. Once they retreat and analyze what happened, they'll adapt their tactics. We need to make this lesson permanent." That's when the third phase of humanity's plan activated. The aliens thought they were retreating to safety, but they were actually moving into another trap. Major Young-Sik Cho activated the planetary defense network. Every major city on Earth revealed hidden launch silos that had been concealed for decades. Thousands of missiles streaked into space, but they weren't aimed at the alien fleet. Instead, they detonated at carefully calculated points throughout Earth's orbital space. Nuclear explosions turned millions of pieces of space debris into a deadly cloud of superheated metal fragments, moving at orbital velocity. The retreating alien ships flew directly into this expanding sphere of destruction. Their hulls, designed to withstand energy weapons, were shredded by countless tiny impacts. Ships that had survived the initial kinetic bombardment found themselves being torn apart by debris no bigger than coins. When the Battle of Earth's ultimatum finally ended, 63 Dominion ships had been destroyed or disabled. The survivors limped away at best possible speed, leaving behind wreckage and bodies floating in the void. Humanity's losses were 12 ships from the Ghost Fleet, and those only because their captains had pressed attacks too close to exploding alien vessels. Admiral Vel-Noth, wounded and barely alive in his crippled flagship, sent one final message to Earth before retreating. "This is not over, humans. The Dominion will return with the full Grand Armada. You have made an enemy of the most powerful force in the galaxy." Admiral Hyun-Woo Park's reply was broadcast on all frequencies, ensuring every alien ship would hear it. "We'll be waiting, and next time, we'll have had more time to prepare." News of humanity's victory spread across the galaxy, faster than the surviving Dominion ships could limp home. For the first time in 3 centuries, the Galactic Dominion had been defeated in battle. The impossible had happened. A primitive species had destroyed over half of an invasion fleet using weapons that shouldn't have worked. Emperor Kethvar received the reports in his palace on the capital, world of Dominax Prime. He was an ancient being, even by his species' standards, and had ruled the Dominion for over 200 years. In all that time, no world had successfully resisted his forces. "Bring me Admiral Vel-Noth," he commanded. "I want to hear this story myself." When the wounded admiral appeared before him, Kethvar saw something he had never seen in a Dominion officer's eyes before: fear. "Tell me exactly what happened," the Emperor demanded. Vel-Noth's report was detailed and disturbing. The humans had weapons hidden throughout their solar system. They used kinetic projectiles that passed through energy shields like they weren't there. Their ships could appear and disappear at will. They had turned their entire star system into a fortress. "How is this possible?" Kethvar asked. "Our intelligence report showed a primitive species with a handful of ships. They deceived us, my Emperor. Everything we saw was false. Their real military capabilities were hidden. They have been preparing for war for decades." Emperor Kethvar stood silent for a long moment. The Galactic Dominion ruled through fear and overwhelming force. If word spread that humans had defeated them, other species might begin to resist. The very foundation of his empire was at risk. "Mobilize the Grand Armada," he ordered. "Every ship, every weapon, every soldier. I want 2,000 vessels ready for battle. The humans want a war? We will give them total annihilation." Back in the Sol system, Admiral Hyun-Woo Park was dealing with the aftermath of humanity's first interstellar war. The victory had been overwhelming, but he knew it was only the beginning. The aliens would return with a much larger force. "Sir, we're receiving communications from across the galaxy," reported Lieutenant Soo-Jin Han. "Other species are asking about our victory. Some are requesting diplomatic contact. Any threats?" "Just one. A message from something called the Grand Armada. They're coming with 2,000 ships." Dr. Ji-Hai Choi looked up from her analysis station. She had been studying the wreckage of alien ships, trying to understand their technology. "Admiral, we have a problem. The aliens we fought were using standard Dominion technology, energy weapons, antimatter cores, particle shields. But if they bring 2,000 ships, even our kinetic weapons won't be enough." Captain Min Ho-yoon entered the command center carrying a tactical report. His ghost fleet had performed perfectly in the battle, but he understood the mathematics of the situation. Sir, even if we destroy 10 alien ships for every one we lose, 2,000 ships would overwhelm us through sheer numbers. Hyunwoo studied the tactical displays. Earth's hidden arsenals had been revealed. The element of surprise was gone. When the Grand Armada arrived, they would know what to expect. We need a new strategy, he decided, something they won't expect even after studying our previous battle. That's when Captain Woo-seok Kim arrived with an interesting proposal. He commanded the evacuation and supply fleet, the ships responsible for moving people and resources between Earth's colonies. Admiral, I've been studying the enemy's tactics. They always attack the primary world first. They expect us to defend Earth at all costs. And what if we don't? What if we let them have Earth? The command center fell silent. The idea of abandoning Earth seemed impossible, but Captain Kim continued his explanation. Not permanently, sir, but what if we evacuate the population and turn the entire planet into a trap? Make them think they've won, then destroy them when they least expect it. Dr. Haewon-jung had been working on new weapon designs since the battle. She looked up from her calculations with excitement in her eyes. That could work. We could rig the entire planet with nuclear devices, not to destroy it, but to create massive debris fields in specific patterns. Turn Earth's gravity well into a weapon. Explain. Nuclear explosions in Earth's atmosphere could launch millions of tons of material into precise orbital trajectories. When the alien fleet arrives to claim their prize, they'll fly into a cloud of debris moving at escape velocity. Admiral Hyunwoo Park realized the brilliance of the plan. The aliens expected humans to fight desperately for their home world. They would never expect Earth's defenders to abandon the planet voluntarily. How long would we need to evacuate Earth's population? Captain Kim had already run the calculations. With our hidden transport fleet, about 6 weeks. The outer colonies can support Earth's entire population temporarily. Commander Yoon Ji-nam's voice came through from Ceres Station. Earth Command, this is Asteroid Belt Control. We're detecting long-range hyperspace distortions. Something very large is coming our way. Time to arrival? Based on the signature patterns, approximately 8 weeks. Perfect timing. They would have just enough time to evacuate Earth and prepare the trap. President So-young Kim gave the evacuation order from the emergency bunker. Within hours, transport ships that had been disguised as cargo haulers revealed their true capacity. Earth's civilian population began moving to hidden colonies in the outer system. The evacuation was presented to the galaxy as a strategic withdrawal. Humanity was abandoning Earth to save lives. It looked like defeat, exactly as they intended. Major Young-sik Cho coordinated the planetary preparations. Every major city received special nuclear devices, carefully designed to launch debris in specific directions. The explosions would look random to alien observers, but every piece of shrapnel would follow calculated trajectories. Dr. Ji-hai Choi monitored galactic communications. The aliens were broadcasting their approach openly, confident in their overwhelming numbers. They expected to find a demoralized enemy fleeing before their might. They're calling it the final conquest, she reported. Emperor Kethavar himself is leading the fleet. They want to make an example of humanity that will terrify the entire galaxy. Captain Donghyun Seo moved his ghost fleet to new positions throughout the outer system. His stealth ships would play a different role this time. Instead of direct attack, they would serve as observers and coordinators for the trap. All ships report ready, he transmitted to Earth Command. We're invisible and in position. When the Grand Armada arrives, we'll have perfect intelligence on their movements. As the weeks passed, Earth emptied. Cities that had held millions became ghost towns. The planet looked abandoned, defeated. Exactly as planned. The Grand Armada's approach was detected by sensors across the galaxy. 2,000 ships, the largest military force ever assembled. Every species in Dominion space watched to see how the Empire would deal with the upstart humans. Admiral Velnoth, recovered from his injuries, led the advanced scouts into the Sol system. What he found seemed to confirm their intelligence. Earth looked defenseless. No orbital platforms, no defensive fleets, no signs of resistance. The humans have fled, he reported to Emperor Kethvar. Earth appears to be completely abandoned. Excellent. Land occupation forces on their capital cities. I want this planet claimed in the name of the Dominion. The Grand Armada moved into Earth's orbit, 2,000 ships arranged in perfect formation around the defenseless planet. They had come to crush humanity's spirit and found apparently no one left to fight. It was exactly what the humans had been hoping for. Admiral Hyunwoo Park, commanding the defense from a hidden base on Pluto, watched the alien fleet settle into their trap. Every ship was exactly where the calculations had predicted they would be. "All stations report ready," he announced. "Execute Operation Prometheus." Across Earth's surface, carefully placed charges detonated simultaneously. The explosions looked like the random destruction of a defeated civilization, but every blast had been precisely calculated to send debris into specific orbital paths. The Grand Armada was about to discover that an apparently empty planet could be the most dangerous weapon of all.